Picture there's a showdown so electric it burned through screens and left jaws on floors. Denzel Washington facing off against Candace Owens in a clash that wasn't just talk, it was a truth bomb detonating live on air. Candace, a conservative firebrand with her razor-sharp tongue, thought she had the narrative on lock, ready to shred any talk of systemic racism as a weak excuse. But then Denzel strode in not as an actor, but as a man forged in. Real struggles armed with facts, cool-headed composure, and a presence that could hush a hurricane. This wasn't Hollywood. This was raw, unfiltered reality. Exploding on national TV by the end of the internet. Was ablaze, careers wobble, and America face a mirror. It couldn't ignore the stage was Phoenix, Arizona. On the set of Real America, a show notorious for bare-knuckle debates that left guests bruised and viewers buzz in the air, crackled with anticipation like static before a storm overhead. Lights scorched like a desert noon, turning the studio into a pressure cooker. 4 chairs stood ready, 3 for panelist 1 for the moderator. Producers huddled behind cameras, swapping hush signals, their faces a mix of thrill and dread. They knew tonight's topic, race, justice, identity, was a powder keg, especially with Candace Owens steering the ship. She thrived in chaos, turning debates into demolitions where she walked away unscathed. Her opponents left stammering. Candace sat poised, her signature smile, a calculated curve that screamed control, dressed in a sleek black blazer, hugging her like armor. She was polished invincibility across from her. Denzel Washington. Yes, the script says Denzel, but we know it's Denzel. The icon, his charcoal suit, was crisp, timeless, unbothered by heat or hype. He didn't sweat, didn't fidget. His posture was upright, grounded in decades of self-assurance, the kind earned from starring in blockbusters while navigating the minefield of Black America. He sat deliberate, not rigid eyes, steady voice, ready to drop truths that would echo far beyond these walls. The moderator, a slick host known for stirring pots, kicked off Mr. Washington. He began, tone measured, but hungry for sparks. You've spoken about justice system inequities. Candace argues the system is fair. Race is overused as a scapegoat. Your thoughts? Denzel didn't blink. His voice landed low, measured like a judge with a gavel. The issue isn't race coming up too often. He said each word heavy with authority. It's ignored until it costs someone their future or life. The room shifted. You could feel the energy. Till Candace leaned in, eyes gleaming predatory with respect. Mr. Washington, she countered, voice smooth as silk, but sharp as steel, focusing on race, creates victimhood. Culture, it teaches Black kids every hardship is racism. Look at me, I've succeeded. It's not race, it's choices, work ethic. Nods flicker behind cameras. That was Candace's playbook. Position herself as the exception, the Black woman who made it without whining about the system. Proof racism was exaggerated, a dusty relic weaponized by liberals. Denzel stayed unrushed. He angled, slightly expression steady. So you're saying systemic racism is overblown? He asked, calm as a still lake. Absolutely. Candace fired back, holding her pose like marble. We are Black. Billionaires, celebrities, CEOs, thriving. Racism isn't stopping anyone who grinds as an excuse. Victimhood as strategy. Silence, stretched thick, tense. Denzel let her words hang, echoing the void, then leaned forward just a touch. That's an interesting take, he said, tone even but weighty, because I found a public record last night that says otherwise. Candace blinked a rare crack. I'm sorry, what she asked, voice pitching up. Denzel reached into his jacket, unfolding a document with slow purpose. His voice stayed steady. Final 2007, Stamford, Connecticut. A discrimination complaint filed by you with the Board of Education. You claimed racial harassment. Not just filed, you settled. Candace gave a hollow laugh. I have no idea what you're talking about, she said, trying to brush it off. Denzel didn't waver. I think you do, he replied, holding the paper out, not waving it, just letting its existence speak. You said race was the reason the system agreed enough to pay out. The moderator shifted, nervous. Let's keep this respectful, he interjected, sensing derailment. This is respectful, Denzel said, voice firm. I'm not here for punches, I'm here for questions. How you go from demanding protection from racism to denying for others. The air thick and charged like a storm. Cameramen swapped glances. Producers behind glass leaned in. Viewers at home glued to screens felt it like a gut punch. Candace's polish cracked. For a second she adjusted her lapel mic. Buying time, that was long ago. She said I was young, different. Denzel nodded, once eyes sharp. But it was true, wasn't a pause heavy. Then yes, Candace admitted, but that doesn't change my point today. It is the point, Denzel, cutting calm, unyielding. Truth doesn't expire. Candace looked down briefly, regrouping, bringing up my teenage years. Doesn't negate what I'm saying about race being politicized. Now Denzel leaned back, gaze unshaken. No, it proves that when you face racism, you wanted justice and God. It now you tell others to swallow what you couldn't. You call it politics. I call it history. Repeating Candace opened her mouth, searching for a comeback. But Denzel's voice slid over hers, smooth, relentless. You said you were harassed, fear for safety. Said the school failed to protect you. His tone was firm, steady, under blazing lights in the sharp, thin studio air. Candace had no quick answer. The words filled the room heavier than shouts. And you weren't wrong, he. Added eyes locked on her, but don't rewrite. History, you didn't overcome racism by pretending it was gone. You overcame by calling out a ripple move to the audience, quiet, undeniable. The moderator shot a tense look to producers, then tried steer. Okay, maybe let's focus on current policy, Mr. Washington. But Denzel held firm with respect. He said, calm, unshaken. We are talking current policy. What we see today builds on yesterday's patterns. You don't fix a roof without checking the foundation, including our nation's. Candace exhaled sharp like a balloon losing air. You don't know me, she snapped, voice rising. Denzel didn't blink. I know your words, he replied, even. And that's enough, she straightened. Louder, you're twisting things, people evolve. I've grown, learned, too many lean on victimhood. As a crutch, it holds a community back. Denzel tilted his head, not arguing, but clear you didn't grow past it. He said you grew from it. That's the difference. Use that experience to build real. But instead of helping young people stand when targeted like you tell them they're seeing shadows. The air shifted again. Homes across the country filtered through screens. Candace laughed in empty. So now I'm a hypocrite because I'm not angry all the time. Denzel stayed centered, unmoved. No, not for lacking anger, for lacking honesty. You benefited from a system you now say doesn't exist. Then tell others to pretend it's a myth. Silence fell like a curtain. Then Denzel turned to cameras, speaking to Holmes. Here is the reality. He said, voice a clarion call. Racism didn't vanish. When Candace Owens got a book deal, podcast platform, pretending it did, doesn't help the kid graduating. Without being profiled, a woman forced to code switch to be heard, the brother praying to survive a traffic stop. The former state senator on the panel cleared his throat, desperate to shift. Maybe we should talk solutions, he said weakly. But Denzel wasn't done. Spotlight firm. Candace tried again. You think you are helping by convincing people they're eternal victims. Denzel's reply was calm, heavier. No, I'm helping people remember what it